I am just into the park. So I had to leave to explain myself that some man at the front of the park didn't believe me and didn't schedule me for DAS. So I'm a little frustrated, guys. I'll tell you the good points and the bad points that happen. I use the DAS system at Disney World. I'm very grateful that I can use the DAS system at Disney World, and it allows for me to get on the rides. I have medical documentation, and I have very detailed reason as to why I need the DAS pass. I am one of those people that I have an invisible disability. You would not know by looking at me that I have something, but the documentation I have shows I clearly have something, and without it I cannot go on the rides without the DAS. And the DAS doesn't mean you are cutting the line. It means that you are for example, if the wait time to stand by of a line is 2 hours, you will wait 2 hours outside the line. You could go in a gift shop, you just kind of kill time, and then you go on the ride. So you are not cutting the time. You're just waiting outside the line, because the line itself is what causes the problem with your disability. So I use the DAS Pass. I've used it since 2018, and I needed to reboot it. So I went to customer service at the front of the park. I even said to him, I have medical documentation. Do I need to show you my medical documentation? He said, of course not. So I get up to the front. I wait in line about half an hour to get through customer service. And he asked me the question, which I had read online they can ask you, which is basically essentially asking you why you need the DAS Pass without actually having you tell them your specific disorder, what it is. So I told him the reason, and which was probably oversharing information, which is the symptoms of what happens with my disability. So he takes my photo. He says, "You're good to go. You're good to go." But there was like, I'll be honest, he looked at me like I was lying. He looked at me like he did not believe me when I told him that I had the DAS Pass. After I told him what my symptoms were, he kind of gave me this look like this. Like he really made an assumption, he made a judgment that I did not need the DAS Pass. And that's how he looked at me. And then I had some questions about how it works, because I know that we're using the Disney Experience app now, and I wanted to know, can I just go up to a cast member and ask for a comeback time, or do I have to use the Disney Experience app? Because that in itself, being on the phone and I'm never really good with technology, and trying to figure out how the app works, that might actually send me into an attack just in itself. So I asked him, can I go up to a cast member and get a DAS Pass, kind of like the old times? And he's like, absolutely. But he didn't say absolutely. He was like, that's how it works. That's how it's always worked. He was really, he said all the correct things, but the way he said them, he was sarcastic, he was rude, and I really got this sense that he did not believe me that I had DAS. And when I got that sense, I even said to him, would you like to see my medical documentation? Because I came with a giant envelope of documentation. And I said to him, would you like to see it, just in case I had an issue? So he says, you're good to go. So I go to get on the ride, and the cast member, who was very sweet over at Ratatouille, told me that I am not registered for DAS. So I had to leave the park, go to guest relations, which is outside the park, and I went up to a guest relations person at this location, and he had to reschedule me for DAS. And then I asked him very honest, he asked who the person was at the front of the park, and then I very honestly asked him, is there a reason that this would have happened, that it wouldn't have clicked in or something like that? And he said no. He he gave like this kind of like this look, his face went blank, and he goes, no. So there was no explanation, not like, oh, maybe there wasn't Wi-Fi, or maybe it didn't click in, or all these excuses that I'm trying to come up with. And he could see on the app that my DAS was not accessed. That my DAS was not accessed. So this man did not access my DAS. He did not give me my DAS. He faked it. In other words, you have DAS, you're good to go, assuming that I don't need it, and then just went about his day. And I went up to this ride trying to get my DAS pass, and he full on never registered me for DAS. So I had to go get it corrected and get DAS, but that was really not cool. And this is something with people who have invisible disabilities. This is something that we fear. We fear that the average person doesn't think we need it, and that you're thinking that we're cutting the line. It's like, believe me, we would rather wait in line than to have to go through what we go through. Believe me, we don't want your accommodation if we could avoid it. Okay, so no, I am not taking advantage of the system or anything like that, but I am fully annoyed. I am fully annoyed that I waited in line with everyone else at guest relations to get my DAS pass, and that this man did not register me for DAS. He did not. He made an assumption. That is my opinion. He made an assumption and he did not register me for DAS. I had to go to this new guest relations, and the reason I'm saying he did not register for me and it wasn't a mistake is that the new cast member who was from guest relations who accessed my profile, he could pretty much see that my account was not accessed. So this was not a Wi-Fi issue. This was not like he didn't click enter. My account was not accessed. So my file was never accessed. He never went into it. It doesn't show that his name accessed my account. It was purely never accessed. He faked it, in other words, in front of me and never gave me my DAS pass. The cast member at Ratatouille was very sweet. He scheduled me for a DAS anyhow, like through like some back way of doing it, of giving me a callback time, but it was not okay. It was not okay. And I'm really, really annoyed with this because believe me, when you say to people, oh, with your DAS, it's like, believe me, I would rather not have the reason for the DAS. Believe me, I would rather wait in line or not go on the ride than have to go through what I go through. And this was not okay. I am really disappointed. I come to Disney all the time, and then what was really annoying was I had to leave. This is the area of the back entry of the park. So I had to leave, and I had to go into guest relations, which is over there, and then I had to recheck in back into the park. So I had to leave to explain myself that some man at the front of the park didn't believe me and didn't schedule me for DAS. And I come to Disney all the time. I spend thousands of dollars here. I've been coming here since I was a kid. And you know what? It's not okay to in other words, say, in my head, I don't think that you have something wrong. I don't think you're one of the ones that needs the disability pass because you have an invisible disability, or you're a pretty girl, or this or that, or I don't think you need it. It's like I have 5 things of paperwork in my bag. Not okay. Not okay. I am fully annoyed. I have it now, but honestly, this is part of my disorder starting to kick in now, and I'm trying to calm myself down, but it was seriously, seriously not okay, and that is why I'm filming this. So guys, I'm a little disappointed. I went to guest services to have them set up my DAS for me. I waited in line like everyone else to set it up. I was told I was all set up, and now when I got to the ride to use my DAS, it says it's not working. So I'm a little annoyed with that. So I don't, like, when I went to this gentleman to have it set up at the beginning of the day, I was like, I would say I was paranoid. Like, I was like, I almost feel like he doesn't believe me that I have DAS, and I think I mentioned that at the beginning of the vlog. And now I'm actually thinking that this guy did not actually set up my DAS pass. So I'm gonna go back to customer service and see what's going on, because that is super not okay. If I waited in line with everyone else to set up my DAS pass, and he said I was good to go, and then I get over here and wait my turn to set up my time to come back from the ride, you're not cutting the line. You're waiting outside the line and then coming back, and he says you're not registered with DAS. Then I'm a little bit annoyed with that. So I'm gonna go find out why that happened. So I am just... So guys, I am in the land. It's really hot out there. So I am just cooling off indoors a little bit. So yeah, I kind of had a horrible experience. Right here. So I kind of had a horrible experience using or trying to use the DAS here at Disney. I need the DAS. I need the DAS pass. Am I going to talk about the disorder? I was diagnosed with some different anxiety conditions, general anxiety disorder, as well as panic disorder. And when I go into lines or queues where people are rubbing on me and everyone's kind of bumper to bumper, it can trigger an attack. What makes my attacks particularly frustrating is that it's not just a panic attack. For many who have this disorder, you know that one of the things it can trigger is gastrointestinal problems. So basically, my disorder will trigger my need to use the restroom pretty much at sudden. So I will actually feel like I need to go to the bathroom, number one, or number two, and I literally cannot wait. And I'm talking about this even though it's embarrassing, because that's the truth. That is what my disorder does. It triggers gastrointestinal issues. That's just how it always has been for me. So for using the DAS, it helps me a lot because I'm able to time myself going to the bathroom before getting on a ride. So if the ride and the whole experience is 30 minutes, I use the bathroom right before. Even if I start to get a lot of anxiety, I can pretty much hold it, hopefully, and then get off the ride and go to the bathroom. But no, I cannot wait 2 hours in a line, because what happened before DAS, I even knew about DAS, what was happening was, I can remember I got online to go on test track. I got maybe 30, 40 minutes through the wait queue, had an attack, it triggered, may need to go to the bathroom, got off the line. I think there was a nice cast member who then ended up letting me get back on the line or something, and I still ended up waiting. But that was before I even knew about DAS, and it was at a point where I pretty much couldn't even make it work for that day. So, my disorder needs DAS. Without DAS, I cannot go on a ride. For example, today I am at Epcot and I didn't go on anything because I was kind of trying to time my how I was feeling and if I could manage to get on Ratatouille, and then I kind of had this incident, so I haven't been on anything today, just kind of walking around. But I did have this incident that was very frustrating because, and that was my fear. I feared that somehow I was going to go onto the line and I was going to get profiled in some way where a cast member or someone was going to make a wrong judgment and say that I didn't need the DAS pass. But there are people who have hidden disabilities. You have people with Crohn's disease and intestinal problems. There are people who have hidden disabilities that you cannot always see. And it is very frustrating that I went through this today. I didn't expect to go through this. And what made it even, what I thought could happen, because that's how my disorder works, I fear kind of the worst. What I thought could happen was that I was going to go up to customer service and he was going to maybe ask to see documentation or give me a hard time, which he's not supposed to do. And it was kind of a worse experience because this person assumed maybe I was here for a day or something like that and did not schedule me my DAS. I'm actually indoors, so I'm going to put back on my mask. But yeah, I just got frustrated because it would appear that when I went to the customer service at the front and this man told me that my DAS was scheduled and I was on the system, it would appear that he faked it and he did not actually schedule me for the DAS. So when I went to customer service the second time, a different location, I asked him point blankly, is there a reason that this could have happened? Because I'm always trying to give an out, like maybe the Wi-Fi wasn't working, or maybe he didn't like click complete or something. And the cast member that was at the second location asked me what the person looked like to describe them, which I did, and they kind of just shook their head no, and they said that there is no reason that it wouldn't have gone through. So basically what they told me in a very brief way was that this cast member at the beginning of the day did not set up my DAS, even though he said he did. And it would appear that he did some sort of profiling or some sort of judgment on his own and felt that I didn't, in quote, look disabled. or I didn't look like I needed it. And I'm very annoyed, I'm very upset. And because I come here all the time, and since DAS has existed, it's made things easier for me to be able to go on the rides. And kind of like I said, one of the worst fears of someone who has a hidden disability is that you're going to be judged for it, that you're doing something, or entitlement or something. And I'm just frustrated. I'm very frustrated because I think that is what happened. That's what the second cast member kind of implied happened, because they asked what he looked like and to describe him and stuff like that, because they want to investigate it. And it's frustrating. So I wanted to share that because it happened. It happened. And basically I'm just going to go about my day now and try to make the best of it. And kind of just like go on with the day.